Okay, it's now okay. Okay, so if all of you can see my screen, we can start. First of all, good afternoon. My name is Pietro Giardina from Nextworks. So today I'm going to present the marketplace-driven network slice concept that the 5GZORRO project is implementing. So first, I will provide you an overview of the platform, trying to explain the rationale and the concept behind the major functionalities. Then we will pass to the product lifecycle management. This work product will be, explained later. So I will I will present a short, let's say, workflow from the marketplace to the NFVO. Okay, and then we will see how OSM supports the different orchestration phases in this workflow. So first, why ZORRO? What is the reason behind ZORRO? So the thing is that currently the 5G network is still suffering lack of pervasiveness, basically due to a very low capability of establishing network slice and service among or across different domains, different and let's say heterogeneous domains. This is basically due to the fact that the business model is not fitting the needs of the current orchestration technical level. For example, the relationship between the 5G actors are mostly one-to-one relationship. So they lead often to a long time to define bilateral agreements and long time to deploy them. These bilateral agreements are also characterized by a limited number of actors involved. And this is basically led to a potential like CAPEX, due to the fact that the set of resources that are shared between the involved actors are, it's very limited. So the thing is, the risk is that in this context, the technical progress that we achieved in the orchestration in the last year has to be very limited. We have the technology to deploy a slice in a matter of minutes, but it's quite useless if we have to spend, I don't know, the stakeholders has to spend, 1 month to find an agreement for this deployment. So what we should do, we need to change this way the different parties conduct their business. So at least we need to provide them online tools for doing this. And we also should evolve the concept or extend the concept of network resource to including also computing, transport, storage, radio, and spectrum. So this may lead also to the creation of new specialized network stakeholder as a consequence of this enlargement. So a proper framework is needed to provide the required business support to the current orchestration technology, and this is the aim of 5GZORRO. So in few words, what is the goal and the concept of ZORRO? Course design and implementation of this framework, to select and trade resources, lines, service from different providers, and also to establish business relationship, exploiting automatic and secure procedures and mechanisms. The concept itself can be explained with this simple, three-step workflow, basically. Consider that we have here 3 operators, A, B, and C, but they can be more, of course. Now, the operators basically exploits the DLT-based marketplace to publish and search for new resources. DLT-based because this is the technology baseline for our marketplace concept, and to publish and search because the stakeholder can be at the same time resource provider and resource consumer. Now, on the need of the resource consumers, let's say, the framework should automatically select the proper resources. So after the selection happened, resource usage and chaining is automatically formalized through the mechanism of the smart contract. So we use the smart contract to formalize the business relationship and to start the orchestration process. Of course, to realize this, only the concept of marketplace, it is not enough because it doesn't provide the mechanism for security, trust, and automation that are required. Security because we are establishing service and slice across multiple domains. So we are enabling interaction between different domains. Trust because we have basically different stakeholders that are doing business together. And automation because we want to create a mechanism that from the marketplace automatically basically deploys, orchestrate, configure all the slice and service that are required. So those are the service that we are implementing in cross-domain network slicing with zero-touch lifecycle management, resource and service offering via marketplace, discovering and intelligent selection and trading of resource and service via smart contract, DI licensing management, SLA monitoring and SLA breach prediction, security and trust across multiple domains. So the 5GZORRO platform is basically composed by 4 sub-platforms. Of course, we have the marketplace that is in charge of the management of the digital products and the smart contract. The zero-touch service management and orchestration that basically implements the full orchestration stack, including also the business support. Then we have the governance. The governance is a platform that is in charge of the identity management of the 5GZORRO entities. The entities are stakeholders, resource, service, and products. And finally, we have the cross-domain and analytics intelligence for IOP, which basically implement the data lake and a set of programs for the intelligent data analysis. The idea behind this 4 platform is that different stakeholders may use different deployment models. For example, a regulator or any other kind of authority from the platform basically we require for further governance, maybe the marketplace, but probably it doesn't require the orchestration, and so on. So a few words about the orchestration platform. It is basically a model that has 2-layer stack. The novelty is in the business layer. So the business layer is capable of establish relationship between the parties via marketplace. It is able to capture stakeholder relevant requirements. Basically, the stakeholders can access and select the resource using the intent-based interface. So this part select also the proper products from the marketplace. And finally, after the formalization of smart contracts, this part of this layer of the orchestration invokes the products orchestration. The products orchestration is the usual level of orchestration. So it refers to the lifecycle management of the network slice and services on the basis of their technical specification, description, so descriptors, template, something like that. So we support several standards here, 3GPP NSD, ETSI NSD, and actually here I forgot to mention GSMA, GST Nest, but trust me, we support also that. And of course, this part is in direct interaction with the NFVO, in this case OSM, so OSM is the NFVO we are using in Zorro, and the VIPS Kubernetes, OpenStack, and so on. We are also integrating security and trust with this orchestration. So we plan to support, we are implementing mechanisms to support slice and service orchestration on a specific segment of NPI that supports the trust execution environment based on Intel SGX world. Of course, we are implementing also mechanisms for intra-domain secure monitoring and also trust and reputation management. We have a specific framework that basically calculates the reputation of the stakeholder, assigned to them a trust score, okay, on the basis of a model called peer trust. And finally, we want to implement a mechanism to, let's say, establish cross-domain VPN connection based on the market. With respect to the marketplace platform, this platform is DLT blockchain based. Okay, it's based on this technology. We are using R3 Corda for enable secure resource sharing and trading. The concept is quite, let's say, quite simple. Basically, once a product offer is created and registered into a DLT, it becomes immutable. The same for the smart contract that refers to this immutable object. So after the transaction, okay, a product offer cannot be tampered. This means that basically the parts cannot manipulate the offer after the transaction. So this adds a lot of security. The marketplace defines some object, or better, the marketplace uses definition from TM Forum. So TM Forum defined several models to model its own internal object. So we used several of these models. I reported them, the most important here related to the product, service, and resource. But we are using also others related to the geographic location, SLA, and something like that. Okay, what are the 5GZORRO products? 5GZORRO products are basically all the service and resources that are meaningful for the 5G. So compute, storage, service resource, network service, network function, network slice. And this is the reason why at the beginning I said product lifecycle management. This is because a slice is a product or a composition of products shared in the marketplace. Finally, for the marketplace platform, we are also extending the platform for trading licensing spectrum via spec token. Spec token is a concept we defined inside the project. This is basically the definition. It represents the right to use a quantum of spectrum into a location over a duration of time. And this spec token can be used and traded only by permissioned 5GZORRO users. This is because the spectrum is a particular kind of resource that is subject to national authority regulation. So the national authority basically has to validate any spectrum offer and transaction. So we provide this type of validation mechanism through our governance platform. Okay? So I know this is not really in line with the orchestration, but this is an important part of the project. So I would like to let you know that basically we are also working this part. Okay, so 5GZORRO product lifecycle management. I will explain you using a simple example storyline. Basically, we have two network stakeholders, operator A and operator B. The operator B creates an offer and publish it on the 5GZORRO marketplace. We are supposing that this offer is based on a network service, okay, like, I don't know, a VCDN cache. The operator A discovers the offer, purchases it, and deploys the service. This storyline has been extracted by the demo, these couple of demos that we performed during our first review, and you can find them full videos into our YouTube channel. Okay, it's the storyline is a bit simplified with respect to demos, but the demos are very, very interesting. Okay, so first part, you can see here we have we have few components from the platform. There is a web portal that provides the access to the stakeholder, to the platform. The resource and service offer catalog that basically stores resource, service, product order, similar object. The smart resource and service discovery, which is an intelligent classifier that provides also an intent-based interface for intelligent search of the best product offer with respect to the requirement of the resource consumer. And finally, here we have the smart contract lifecycle manager that is in charge to produce the smart contract, and it is the entry point of the platform for the Corda network DLT. So the very first step is this one. First, we have to remap the technical definition of a service offer, a product in general, not a product, service, an offer, a resource in general, okay, into object modeled using the TM forum models. So this is the very first step. Then we have to put this inside the resource and service offer catalog. Now, this part can be done manually, or it can be automatized. Basically, we automatized this process for some resources, and basically for OSM, this process is automatized for the descriptor, OSM descriptor. So at this point, the resource owner can access the resource and service offer catalog through the web portal and can create a product offer. The product offer is basically another object defined by the TM forum. It encompasses all service and resources that we have selected here, the resource owner selected here. It also encompasses the SLA terms and the license steps. This part related to the SLA and license is mostly related to the governance platform. We need the governance platform to create them, but for now, let's see that the product offer contains these steps, okay? At this point, the resource owner can create the offer, storing it in the catalog, and a DID for the offer is created. The ID stands for distributed identifier, and it is a unique identifier inside the 5GZORRO platform, but not only in this instance of the platform, in the whole federation of the instance. Okay, so it's unique. The governance platform guarantees for the unicity. Then this offer is propagated to the classifier, to the intelligent classifier, and finally to the smart contract to be propagated to the other stakeholder platform. From now on, the product offer is basically immutable. What's in operator A? The local smart contract lifecycle manager collects all the new offers and stores them in the catalog, so that the catalog from operator A and B are now aligned. At a certain point in time, a resource consumer can access the platform in the operator A, can be the operator A itself or another customer or of operator A. And this resource consumer basically is looking for a service with certain characteristics. So it provides an intent. Our ISSM, Intelligence License Service Manager, which basically implements the business part of the orchestration, queries the smart resource and service discovery and retrieve all the product offers that match that intent. Then it internally applies another optimization process that further refines this selection. At the end, the best product is acquired. So the SSM invokes the smart contract lifecycle manager to start the purchasing process. The smart contract lifecycle manager creates the smart contract and propagates them, registers them in the Corda network, so they now are immutable, and creates a product order that is stored in the local catalog of the operator A. At this point, the purchased resource can be orchestrated. The SSM invokes the network license service orchestrator, which is in charge of pass-militaire classical orchestration. The NSSO verifies the licensing terms with the licensing manager before invoking OSM, then invokes OSM. Now the service is up and running. Okay, so this is an instance of this service. At this point, the NSSO configures our monitoring data aggregator to collect the metrics related to the service. The MDA collects the metrics, aggregates them, and sends them to the data lake. And this basically concludes the orchestration phase. And then start part of the running phase with continuous monitoring of the service, but this is out of scope of the presentation. So how OSM support us? Of course, OSM is the NFVO, but we have also, we receive other type of supports by this MANO. The first is given at the very first step. As I said, we automatized this translation process that is valid for NSD, VNFD in ETSI 006, of course, the version supported by OSM 9 and 10. So what happened? The resource owner can convert directly this, the descriptors from the 5GZORRO web portal. There is this translation button. You click here, you can list all the assets that should be translated, that you want to be translated, select what you want, and the process translation. The translation process starts. At the end of the process translation, the objects in TM format are automatically stored in the catalog and are ready to be encapsulated, embedded inside potential product offers. For this, we created an XRM, a module called XRM. It stands for Any Resource Manager. It's basically an abstraction layer on top of the MANO layer, but also on top of the controller. And this offers access to the underlying infrastructure, but also this translation process for OSM, but also for radio controller and other type of resources. Second type of support, the monitoring data aggregator basically exploits the OSM metrics collection capabilities. So it periodically collects metrics from open source MANO, okay, and send these metrics after the aggregation, its process of aggregation towards the data lake to be analyzed. The other part of support is given to the licensing management. So the licensing manager deploys special licensing agents that continuously monitor the licensing terms, exploiting the OSM APIs. We have two simple type of license term that we can monitor, on top of upon open source MANO, the time of usage, and also the maximum number of instances in the MANO. So, in conclusion, 5GZORRO offers the framework where the network stakeholder can trade their resource safely. They can establish end-to-end cross-domain service and slice. We rely on ETSI OSM for the creation of NFV-based products, network slice orchestration, service and infrastructure monitoring, and then licensing. Now, the code of the platform is now available in our GitHub, the project GitHub. As you can see here, we plan several releases. The next one is for this month. And also we are supported by two testbeds, 5G Barcelona and 5 Tonic Madrid, where we plan to start the validation by the early next week. And that's conclude my presentation. Thank you for the attention. If you have any question, I'm glad to answer if I can, even via mail or chats or whatever.
Thank you, Pietro. We do have a few minutes if there are questions.
So going back to the XRM that you were saying, where it's being able to, right there, where it's able to export things. You're saying OSM 9 and 10. I'm just thinking in terms of broader applicability and, ETSI solved solutions. Is the idea there that would eventually be something that would be capable of exporting like Sol 6 rather than OSM 10? Or what is it that specifically you're looking at with the any resource manager?
I'm sorry, I actually didn't get exactly the question.
Okay, so any resource manager has translation logic,
Yes.
and it shows it heading towards open source MANO. And I guess my question is it specifically creating Sol 6 compliant output such that any other Sol 6 compliant manager can be used?
No. It's the other way. It's the other way around. We translate OSM ETSI OS descriptor towards the TM4 mode.
Okay, now I understand.
It's the other way around. Yes, because we need this format to put this in the resource and service software catalog. Yes, because this is the the set of standard models we use to models our marketplace.
Yes. Now it makes sense to me. That okay. Thank you. I was just missing that.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Pietro.